Hey there, I'm Sean Collins, co-CEO of Affiliate Summit. And with the Affiliate Summit 2020 coming up in Las Vegas so it'll be 15 years there, it's got me a little bit nostalgic about the very first time that we went to Las Vegas. So that was back in 2005 in June. It was the time we got a pretty good deal. But we had the Vegas heat, which was a little bit oppressive. Oh, and by the way, while I'm with you here, I'm having a Austin Beer Works Laser Salad. It's a double IPA, very strong, so it's in a tiny can. I don't have gigantic hands. Anyway, that first time that we went to Vegas, we were at the Riviera, which has been imploded since then. I'd never been to Vegas before. Didn't know anything about the Riviera outside of the fact that it was in the movie Showgirls and Vegas Vacation, some other stuff. We got there and it was pretty bad. It was a dump, but they sold it to us as being old Vegas and historic and Liberace and all that stuff going back in the old days. But it was pretty bad. But it was our first. We didn't have a whole lot of budget, and it was our first time there. And but we back then we were very bootstrapped with the way we did things. It was the very last time that we stuffed our own bags, and so we just got a bunch of friends to show up, and we spent I guess it would have been a Saturday in a suite, and must have been 15, 20 of us just with drinks and food all day, just stuffing those bags to give out to the attendees. And back then, I guess we had 400 and something, 450, 500 people maybe, and it took us forever to stuff those bags. And so, but through a whole day of drinking, then I ended up meeting up with Brooke Schaff afterwards, and we went to I forget the place, Peppermill or something like that. It's next door to where the Riviera was, like a 24/7 diner. So we had some Bloody Marys there, and then made the fateful mistake of going over to the Wynn, to some bar there, and got bottle service. And so this is a long day. I was jet lagged, and it almost prevented me from getting from my first Vegas Philly. It's not even happening for me, at least. So we were sitting there doing bottle service, and I think we probably got 2 bottles. Who knows? And at one point, I decided to do the Irish goodbye and just slip out on a purported visit to the bathroom. And so so when we were leaving the Wynn there, you would take a right to go to the Riviera. But since I'd had a few, I took a left and went down the entire length of the strip down to like the MGM, just wandering. And there's some bits and pieces that are sort of missing from that day that I don't really remember. They just got sort of dissolved from my head. But one thing I do remember is I decided I was a little bit exhausted, so I took a nap on the strip. So I was just laying there, and I just remember a group of women came over, and they sort of jostled me and got me up and asked me if I needed help, and I probably said no. And then the next thing I knew, I was riding on some kind of shuttle, and then I was magically at the Riviera. I remember there were police at some point, and I'm not really sure what happened there. All I know is the next day I woke up and I was fully clothed on the couch in my hotel, and I had no idea what had happened. I still had my wallet and everything, so I hadn't gotten robbed, and somehow autopilot got me back there, or police, or somebody, some good Samaritan. But so that next day was the day for check-in and everything. I'd be picking up their badges and whatnot. And so I was feeling very rough, and I missed a good portion of that, which I'm sort of ashamed of. But I went to the belly of Vegas and got spit back out. But it ended up being a really neat show. It was the first time we ever had an exhibit hall, and I mean, I don't know if you can really call it an exhibit hall. We had 12, 13, 14 booths there, and it was just a small crowd overall. But it was very exciting for us to be in Vegas for the first time. And one other thing that people probably remember who were there is that at the same time, there was a big group of people who were rugby supporters for some kind of rugby team. And so they were just drunk pretty much 24/7. They'd just be like passed out in the casino and stuff. And at one point, I guess we didn't really have time to use the pool there, but one of these rugby supporters puked in the gigantic pool at the Riviera, so they had to clean out the whole thing, and so that was down for a while. So, but then it had the end of the show was a downer. We right after we had a big blogging panel. Then people were hanging out afterwards, and one of the speakers was Wayne Porter, and rest in peace, who we lost recently, unfortunately. But he was just hanging out with everybody talking after the session, and all of a sudden he just collapsed. He just fell down. I thought he was goofing around, but he smacked his head on this ashtray, and he was just out cold. And that was it was very scary. It was a rough ending to the conference, but fortunately he lived. He was a awesome supporter and contributor to Affiliate Summit for many years after that. But then fortunately we lost him too young of a life recently. But it was so that was our very first time with a handful of speed bumps there, and it was exciting. It was fun. It was scary. And now I guess we got it down. We've done it so many times in so many different hotels over the years. And let me see if I can even remember them. I guess after Riviera, we went to Bally's. Then we were at the Rio, Caesars, the Wynn, Paris. I guess that's it. But been to a lot of places, a lot of stories, a lot of times there. But that very first Affiliate Summit in Vegas, I almost didn't make it to the actual Affiliate Summit, which is very ridiculous. And I learned my lesson to pace myself when I'm there in Vegas for many days. So you do the same next time you're at Affiliate Summit. But I'll see you all in January. Looking forward to it. And have a happy rest of 2019. Good luck with Black Friday and everything. Take care.